What are you doing? This wall saves lives!
It's illegal. Pay up or watch it fall.
I woke up to the rumble of heavy equipment shaking the foundations of my home, like some mechanical beast tearing through the backyard. It was the sound of destruction, pure and simple, ripping apart something I'd poured my heart and soul into for over a decade. Standing there in the early morning light, the president of our homeowners association watched with a satisfied grin as contractors demolished the flood barrier that had shielded 24 houses from disaster time and again. All because I wouldn't cave to her bogus demands for monthly payments on something I'd built with my own hands, on my own land, to protect our entire community. Victoria Hargrove thought she'd finally put that stubborn old civil engineer in his place, the one who refused to kneel to her self-appointed ring. But what she didn't realize was that I had every document, every inspection report, and every scrap of proof showing my barrier was perfectly legal and essential. And within 2 days, when that storm warning turned into a deluge, she was about to discover why you don't cross a man who's spent 4 decades outwitting rivers and floods. The certified mail arrived on a crisp autumn Tuesday in Willow Creek Estates, our quiet suburban neighborhood tucked away in the rolling hills of Virginia. I'd lived here for 25 years, raising a family in this 2-story colonial with its wraparound porch and maple trees that turned fiery red every fall. The letter came from the Willow Creek Homeowners Association, marked as an urgent legal notice. We'd never had much trouble from the HOA before, just the usual reminders about lawn mowing or holiday lights. But this felt different, heavier somehow, like it carried the weight of trouble. I brewed my morning coffee in the kitchen where Eleanor and I used to share quiet breakfasts, planning our days over scrambled eggs and the local paper. Her chair had been empty for 3 years now, since the heart disease claimed her too soon. I still set out 2 mugs out of habit, a small ritual to keep her memory close. Tearing open the envelope, the words jumped out at me: notice of violation and required infrastructure assessment fees. Your unapproved flood control installation demands immediate adherence, with payments of $925 per month starting next month. $925 a month for the retention wall Eleanor and I had constructed 15 years earlier. I read it twice, my coffee growing cold. They labeled it an unapproved flood control installation and insisted on charging me for maintaining it on my property. Signed by Victoria Hargrove, HOA president, a name I vaguely recalled from a recent election flyer. The letter spouted legalese about neighborhood uniformity, potential hazards, and shared liability, giving me 30 days to pay up or face enforcement actions. My hands steadied as I set the paper down. This wasn't some slapdash project. Back in 2005, during Hurricane Rita's aftermath, we'd watched floodwaters ravage half the block. The Lees next door lost their entire lower level to water damage. The Rodriguez family had to strip their home to the studs. Old Mr. Harlan's workshop caved in under the pressure. 24 homes affected, with repair bills soaring into the millions. Eleanor had been the one to push me. "Henry," she'd said, her voice firm as we helped neighbors salvage what they could. "You worked 35 years with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. You know water better than anyone. Fix this." So I did. I designed a sturdy earthen retention wall at the natural dip in our backyard where runoff from the surrounding streets pooled. Nothing extravagant, just solid engineering. Soil tests, county permits, reinforced materials. The inspector gave it a thumbs up. It cost us $15,000 and 4 months of weekends, but that wall had held strong ever since. In the 2012 nor'easter, it diverted thousands of gallons that would have swamped the same houses. Same for the 2019 downpours and last year's spring thaw. I'd logged it all: rainfall measurements, water volumes, flow calculations. By my estimates, it had averted at least $2.8 million in damages over the years. Now this Victoria Hargrove wanted me to fork over nearly $1,000 monthly for the honor of keeping our neighborhood dry. I stepped outside with my mug, staring at the wall in the sunlight. It blended seamlessly with the landscape, grass-covered slopes dotted with the daylilies Eleanor had planted. It belonged there, on our land, built with our savings, safeguarding our friends. I found Victoria's number in the community directory. She lived on Oak Lane, a few blocks away. I'd seen her at a couple of meetings, always dressed sharply, but we'd never spoken. The phone rang twice before she picked up. Victoria Hargrove speaking. Ms. Hargrove, this is Henry Caldwell on Pine Drive. I received your letter about my retention wall. Ah, Mr. Caldwell. Good to hear from you. That installation of yours has raised some concerns in the community. We need to address compliance right away. Her tone was polished, like a salesperson closing a deal. Compliance? Ma'am, that wall's been permitted and inspected for 15 years. It's legal and functional. Things evolve, Mr. Caldwell. The board has reviewed it and found it breaches our aesthetic guidelines and poses risks. The fees will cover enhanced insurance and upkeep. Breaches? I have the county approvals right here. Care to review them? I believe you're misunderstanding the hierarchy. The HOA governs community impacts. Your wall is unsightly and hazardous. We've received reports. That's when I sensed her ignorance. Ms. Hargrove, what's your expertise in hydrology or structural engineering? A beat of silence. My background isn't the issue. HOA rules are. And these fees for what exactly? Maintenance oversight, safety audits, liability coverage standard for shared water features. I nearly chuckled. She expected me to pay her to oversee a wall I'd maintained flawlessly myself. I handle all that. No need for your involvement. You have 30 days, Mr. Caldwell. Non-compliance means we'll enforce remedies. Let's keep this civil. Click. I gazed at the wall again, thinking of Eleanor tending those flowers. 30 days to submit. No way. I called up Bill Harlan, the lawyer who'd sorted Eleanor's will. He'd been practicing in our county for 30 years, knew every courthouse nook. Showing him the letter and my files, he leaned back with a grin. Henry, this is textbook overreach. Your wall's legit, permitted, and she's got no grounds for fees. We'll counterfile and nip this. Bill was optimistic, filing our response that Friday, citing property rights, valid docs, demanding she drop the demands and cover my costs. I left his office feeling solid the law backed me. Word spread quickly in Willow Creek. Mrs. Lee dropped by with apple pie and $600. Henry, your wall saved our home twice. Let me chip in for the lawyer. The Rodriguez clan added $400. Even Mike Donovan, a retired cop from Elm Street I hardly knew, showed up with support. Heard about this HOA baloney. Victoria's been stirring pots since she arrived. I'm in. By week's end, 14 neighbors pledged funds or testimony. Maybe Victoria had underestimated our tight-knit community. Then Tuesday dawned at 6:30 with machinery roaring in my yard. I bolted outside to see a backhoe poised by the wall, workers prepping, one recording on his phone. Victoria stood by a pickup marked with county stickers, clipboard in hand, beaming. What in God's name is this? I yelled over the din. She sauntered over. Morning, Mr. Caldwell. Emergency removal of your unsafe structure. County ordered it yesterday. She thrust a paper at me. Emergency condemnation notice. Immediate demolition required. Signed by a Robert Klein from County Engineering. I knew every name there from my permit days. This was new. This can't be. No notice, no check. You can't demolish legal property. Weaken for safety. Step aside. I phoned Bill voicemail. County office transfers. Then Mr. Klein's unavailable. Sheriff's deputy arrived 20 minutes later, eyed the dock, shrugged. Seems official. Dispute it civilly. I can't halt it. The foreman, burly with a chew habit, snorted. Lady says tear it down. County agrees. Problem? Call the hall. By 9:45, it was rubble. They breached the walls, shoved earth into heaps. Stored water trickled toward drains, muddy and unchecked. I photographed everything. The dubious truck, no permits from workers, Victoria filming gleefully. Mrs. Lee rushed over, tears streaming. The Rodriguez kids gawked from their yard. Mike Donovan arrived as they packed up, grilling Victoria for ID. Her poise cracked. Workers bolted, her trailing. That afternoon, a severe storm watch issued for 48 hours. Remnants of Tropical Storm Elena approaching, forecasting 4 to 6 inches of rain. Without the wall, calculations screamed disaster. Overwhelmed drains, basements underwater. Rain hit at midnight, pounding relentlessly. I watched from my window, coffee in hand, as pools formed in the crater. By 1 a.m., 2 inches down, streets flooding. Sump pumps whirred futilely. At 2:30, Mrs. Lee's basement surged. I heard her cries, dashed over. Water lapped 3 feet high, drowning her husband's old photo albums from Korea, his tool collection floating. Henry, all his memories. We pumped with Mike and others, but it refilled. The Rodriguez garage flooded, submerging their SUV and minivan. Upstairs, kids' rooms soaked, teddy bears ruined, comic books pulp. I documented levels, times, flows. Math clear. Wall would have held 82% of runoff. Dawn brought $148,000 in estimates, basements gutted, vehicles totaled, foundations cracked. Calling Bill at dawn. Add flood damages. Victoria's stunt cost us big. Henry, this elevates to major liability. Victoria's emergency HOA email blamed amateur drainage by owners like me, demanding I cover costs. Outrageous, blaming the protector for her sabotage. Mike arrived with files. That order? Forged. No client at county, no record. Trucks her sister's husband's firm. Emails unearthed. Victoria scheming with kin to overbill HOA $52,000 in 6 months for phantom work. Worse, plans to flood, devalue homes, buy low, flip high, post-fixes. Felonies stacked, fraud, vandalism, conspiracy. Bill salivated. Criminal now. Victims joined suit. But Victoria filed HOA bankruptcy, claimed poverty, sought restraining order alleging threats, lies, listed house for sale. Mike spied moving vans. She's fleeing in days. We dug overnight. Breakthrough. HOA unregistered her, authority void. Dr. Emily Roth from State Uni inspected, report damning. Wall prevented millions in gallons, removal malpractice. Surveillance caught Victoria directing, filming. Storage unit hid docs, proving premeditation. Her realtor insurance covered fraud, they'd chase her assets. Emergency motion froze sale, assets. Hearing. Victoria admitted forgery under oath. Judge attached house, referred DA. Trial. Prosecution built ironclad case. I testified engineering facts. Victoria cracked on stand, ranting entitlement. Guilty all counts. For years prison, restitution, license yanked. House sold for victims. County rebuilt wall officially, funded. Mrs. Lee new president, reformed HOA. Standing by the new structure at dedication, neighbors gathered. Mike quipped Victoria met sturdier walls in prison. I thought of Eleanor, we'd guarded more than homes. We'd defended justice. What do you think about stories like this, where everyday people face injustice from those in power? Have you encountered similar HOA nightmares or acts of petty tyranny? Share in the comments though you believe such abuses stem from deeper societal issues like unchecked authority or greed. Take a stand. Should there be stricter laws against HOA overreach? Or is it just part of community living? Let's discuss how we can prevent these injustices in our own backyards.